Welcome back to the channel and thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Today we're under my 2011 Jeep Wrangler JKU, removing and replacing the front drive shaft. Now after I get it out, I'll show you why I'm replacing it, but to get it out of the Jeep is pretty easy. This is going to work for any JK, pretty much any Jeep at least, because this is pretty much how it works for my TJ2. But to start with, there's 4 bolts at the front holding the front of the drive shaft to the yoke that goes into the front differential, and it's a 15mm socket that you need to break those loose, remove those. And then I'll use a dead blow hammer to break the front of the drive shaft loose to get it to slide back a little bit, and I can get it off of that front yoke. Or if you're lucky, you don't even need to tap on it to break it free. It'll just drop right down once you remove those 4 bolts. With the front of the drive shaft disconnected and the transfer case in 2-wheel drive, the front drive shaft is free to spin. And so I've got an 8mm socket on a 1/4-inch ratchet, and I need to remove the 8 bolts that are holding the drive shaft to the transfer case. So you just remove 1 bolt at a time, spin the drive shaft around, and you can get it. And this should be stuck in there, pressed in there pretty good, so it shouldn't drop out on its own, but we'll have to see what happens. Getting those bolts out using a 1/4-inch ratchet, or once you get it backed out far enough, a ratcheting box wrench will work. It'll be slow going, but you can do it. If you throw a couple of long extensions in there, you can put an impact driver on it if you can get your extensions up in front of the transmission skid bar, and you can get them out the same way, just go a little bit faster. And just to show you from the front of the Jeep, looking at the transmission skid bar back at the transfer case, this is how I had the extension set up using the impact driver. When you get the bolts out, you also have to make sure that you get these little bridging clips that go along with it. Get those out as well. So you should have 8 bolts and 4 of those little metal bridges. With all the bolts out now, you can take a pry bar or a chisel or something that you can use to tap on the drive shaft to dislodge it, get it free from the yoke that goes into the transfer case. Break it free, and then you can kind of just tap it out until it comes loose. And then once it's loose, you can just pull it forward and remove it from the Jeep. Well, 7 months later, plans have changed a little bit. I did pull the drive shaft out just like I showed you, but I'm not going to just replace it with a new one. Instead, I'm going to repair it. And the reason for that is a lot of things have popped up in the last 7 months with the other vehicles. I need to take care of those. Thankfully, it's a front drive shaft, so I don't have to have this in. I've just basically 2-wheel drive on the Jeep for the last 7 months. But I'm going to spend 1/3 of the amount of money and just replace the Rzeppa joint that is the CV joint of the drive shaft. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And that's really the main focus of this video now. Let me show you the drive shaft real quick. I've got it on my little workbench there. This is the end that hooks up to the yoke on the front differential. And then this is the CV joint that hooks up to the transfer case. And let's see if I can get in there. You can see the boot is just destroyed. You can see the joint in there. Doesn't look like there's much grease at all. So thankfully, I happened to notice that there was grease on the boot, and looking at it, I could see that it was torn and it needs to be replaced. So let's go ahead and do that. The primary reason that boot gets torn is because when you flex the drive shaft on the factory one, the boot can pretty easily rub up against this the sleeve here on the factory design and then tear it over time, especially if your Jeep is lifted, and the more lifted, the more likely that is to happen. I have got the Teraflex Rzeppa joint replacement kit. It'll work on front and rear drive shafts, by the way. Comes with everything you see here. A new seal with a boot, and this one, it's hard to show in the video, but it's actually tapered outwards, so the likelihood of it catching and rubbing and breaking in the same way is greatly reduced. A new cap, you'll see why that's important. New bolts, plates, 6-inch long ball tip hex head, a new snap ring, Loctite, CV joint band, obviously a new bearing set with a whole ton of warnings that you have to pack it full of grease or it's not going to work properly or last very long, and then a big tube of grease. You need to use all of that. And then I also bought a tool to be able to tighten the CV clamp band. And link for all this stuff is in the video description, of course. So this joint is bad. You're going to wreck it. That front cap, you're going to destroy it. And you also need to remove the clamp band that's on there. So just use a screwdriver or whatever tools work for you to get that band off and throw it in the garbage. By the way, this whole thing is a big greasy mess, so I would recommend that you have some latex or nitrile gloves to wear throughout this whole process, or just have some rags handy to wipe your hands off. So next, you can use a flat blade screwdriver or a pry bar or chisel, whatever you'd like, hammer, and just beat that end cap off. You're going to ruin it, but it just needs to come off, and you're going to throw it in the garbage. So here's the inside of that cap, and there's the inside of the bearing, and that grease is chunky and basically all gone. Definitely time to replace this joint. I'm glad it didn't fail while I was driving. There's a snap ring in the center on that center shaft that's holding the joint in place. We need to just remove that snap ring with your snap ring pliers and set that ring aside. Well, really just throw it away because you got a new one that you're going to use on a new joint. With the snap ring off, we can then just pull the joint off and what's left of the boot, hammer it off, whatever it takes to get it off the splines. That slid off super easy, so now I use some brake parts cleaner and clean that shaft off really well to get it nice and ready for installation of the new joint. So it's probably been at least 25 years since I've packed wheel bearings with grease, but if you've done that before, it's the same concept for the new joint. You've got a tube of grease, you want to get all of it into the race of the CV joint, into the bearings. Keep as much of it as you can off the outer surfaces. You're going to have to clean that off anyway, but use that whole tube of grease, press it in there, work the joint around with your hands. You're not gonna be able to get all of it in there, so in the final moments we'll put what's left of it into that end cap, but really try to work in as much as you can. And as I'm working this in, this just kind of reminds me of back when I was a young college student. I worked as an internship at a manufacturing plant that supplied CV joints and steering components to GM and other car manufacturers up in Michigan, and we did cold form press, pressing out all of the outer races for your CV joints. But CV joints are pretty incredible. A lot goes into them, and you definitely want to make sure you've got a lot of grease inside them so you don't have metal on metal and quickly wear those joints out. All right, it's packed completely full on both sides. Obviously, it's a big mess now. It's all over the place. And so the next step is to actually maybe change your gloves out, but get all of the grease that you can off of the outer part of the bearing of the joint. You're going to wipe it off, put it like on the inside of the joint, not on the splines. So you got to clean those out too. But you want to get the outer face of the joint completely clean. Use brake cleaner. Make sure it's super clean because you don't want any grease on there. Otherwise, the seal won't seal properly, and then you'll have early joint failure. So now, wipe it off, clean it off, and get it ready to be put all together. Once you get the outer surfaces clean, you need to get the grease out of the bolt holes as well. Don't use the bolts themselves. Use a rag. I'm going to start with the 6-inch long extension that they sent, the tool, and then switch over to the rag to get all that cleaned out as well. And then also try to clean out the splines as much as I can. Take your time. The faces of this thing being clean are what's most important, and then the outer ring, I'll clean that too once I get it installed onto the drive shaft. Once the joint is packed and fully cleaned up, the next thing is to put that boot plate on. There's a tapered side and a stepped edge side of the joint. It'll be obvious the boot plate goes on the non-stepped side, so on the tapered side. Put the bolts into the plate first and then put the plate onto the joint. You got to get all 8 bolts lined up. You can do it. Sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle, but be patient. You got it. For the next step, we're going to slide the joint onto the drive shaft. Make sure you get it pushed on all the way. Sometimes it goes on smoothly. Sometimes maybe a little bit of grease on the inside of that boot will help. And I expect some grease will push out from the splines on the front of the shaft, and that's fine. Make sure you get the joint pushed on all the way back. And I clean off the grease on the drive shaft splines just so I can see the groove where the snap ring goes into. But next, just put the snap ring on. Make sure it is fully seated. You do not want that snap ring to ever come loose unless you're taking the joint apart. Next, just go get that tube of grease. Put grease into the center of the joint and if you can't get any more comfortably into the center of the joint, put it at in the cap, in the center of the cap, and then put the cap onto the joint. And of course, make sure that that stepped surface is nice and clean. That's going to be where your seal is. And when you install this, you can use a pair of pliers to gently squeeze it onto the joint, but the actual compression of it is going to happen when you install it onto the Jeep. So you don't have to get it on there very tight, but you don't want it to fall off. So just make sure it's on there with a little bit of pressure. So no haters out there. This is my first time using the tool, but I've got a clamp band tool for the CV joint boot. Gonna get that nice and snug so that no grease can escape, cut it off, and put that tail under the locking tab so that this thing can never come loose unless I actually want it to. So using the tool to tighten the band was a piece of cake, but it's a piece of junk tool. The cutter didn't work. I had a pair of tin snips. I used that. We're good to go, but I highly do not recommend this tool. All right, the drive shaft is good to go. I did check the U-joint on the other end. So if those U-joints are bad, then you need to get a new drive shaft. Anyway, U-joints still feel really good, nice and tight. They move smoothly. So let's go ahead and put this back in the Jeep. So it looks like I didn't record the struggle I had getting the drive shafts up here and aligned. What I did first, I got it just up here, right? And then I put some bungees on it to kind of just hold it in place. But then I went and put 2 bolts in the front of the drive shaft into the pinion flange, the yoke down there, and that just holds it straight and gives it the right compression so that you can get everything lined up here and get the bolts just started, at least a majority of the bolts. So now they're started, and then I will take those bolts out and let the drive shaft hang on the bungee, and that will allow me to rotate the transfer case and then work these bolts in slowly all the way around. So I obviously didn't record every second of installing these 8 bolts and working it in. It's a very long process. But I just want to show you a couple of tricks I learned along the way. So the best place to put your tool, I learned, is actually up here. You'd think it would be like at the bottom, but for whatever reason, coming in from the top on the driver's side, kind of in the middle, actually seemed to work best for access and then being able to drive it in. And then I just worked the bolts in until they were kind of snug, move on to the next one, rotate the drive shaft as you go. So I ended up having a jack stand over here that I rested the drive shaft on. That made it easier. The bungee thing just didn't work out. When it went to torquing it, you have to torque these to 180 inch-pounds or 15 foot-pounds. And so what I did is I put 2 bolts in the front of the drive shaft, just barely, and it just holds the drive shaft in place, and that gives you the reaction against your torque wrench. It'll actually hold the drive shaft in place so you can tighten the bolt to torque. And make sure you go around twice at least and make sure that they're all properly torqued to 15 foot-pounds or 180 inch-pounds. And that's it. And then you go and put the front bolts in. For the front end of the drive shaft, it's 4 bolts, 15 millimeter socket is what you need. Torque them to 81 inch-pounds, and the Teraflex kit gives you some blue Loctite you can put on those bolts. Make sure you use that as well. Get those things torqued down real well, and that is it. You're complete installing the drive shaft. All right, everything is torqued and installed. That is it. It's really not that difficult to do this job. It does take a good amount of time just because really installation of the drive shaft just goes so slowly. Otherwise, you can easily knock this out in half a day though, and it's no problem. And this is about the third of a price of a new drive shaft. Now, you might want a new drive shaft. That's fine. It's super easy to replace those as well, but this way you can replace that joint, save you some money, especially if you're staying in a stock configuration. Hopefully this video is helpful, gave you some tips and tricks. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for helping me grow the channel. I appreciate your support. Until the next video, take care and have a good one.